So, A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey is a story of David and Sarah, two 30-something, 40-something singles who meet at a wedding one night. They kind of hit it off. Things don't really work out. And then on the way home from the wedding, they end up going on this kind of wild misadventure of stepping into their pasts and other times and places and experiencing, their pasts and the world around them from a different new perspective with each other and hopefully finding a future together. It's a bit of a rom-com. It's very dreamlike. It's kind of Ghost of Girlfriend's Past. It's a little like, I don't know, A Christmas Story. It's kind of going into new places. And all of this is possible because of where the script comes from for Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey. It's a funny place. This is a Blacklist script that came from a writer named Seth Rice, who wrote The Menu just a few years ago. And the script Blacklist is this infamous thing in Hollywood where, these like scripts that never get produced but are supposed to be incredible end up on this big list of like, hey, this could be a real banger. That's where this script comes from. I thought it was a book because the premise is so imaginative, but it's not. It's just a script. It's just a movie script. That's where this comes from. And its director is from South Korea, a director named Kogonada, who's notably done After Yang in 2021 with Colin Farrell. He plays a father who's trying to fix this young like android boy and his family, and also did a few episodes of Pachinko over on Apple TV Plus or HBO, I think, which was a really successful television show. This is their new feature. Also worth mentioning, along with Colin Farrell and Margot Robbie in our leads, we have a soundtrack by Joe Hisashi, who is the longtime Studio Ghibli and Miyazaki composer. You can hear it right in the soundtrack right away. It sounds like a Ghibli film, which is really odd and mystical and unique. I really like, I don't know, how lofty this movie aims to be, how magical it wants to be. But its biggest criticism, I think, is that ultimately the trick doesn't work. You don't end up being swept away on A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey. The emotion sticks sometimes, and for the right audience, I think it'll mean more. But ultimately, the magic trick doesn't quite satisfy. I think that's kind of the thing that doesn't work about this movie. Andy, what do you think of A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey?
Yeah, it's man's reach exceeds his grasp situation where it's going for it. It just kind of doesn't get there. They both, our characters pull up to, or Colin Farrell, he rents a car and they insist on getting the GPS, and the GPS is a little bit too insightful. Our characters have a 21st century meet cute at a wedding, where our characters are just a little unbelievable. Colin Farrell's fine, but they wrote Margot Robbie as this manic pixie dream girl, and I was like, I thought we retired that trope long ago, but she talks in a way that no one talks. She swears a lot for no reason. She dresses really weird, like a hippie, and it's like they're trying to make her weird for the sake of being weird. These flashbacks, they're fun in theory, but they just don't work. It's just a very poor attempt at surrealism. It was like baby's first surrealist movie. I just was reminded of much better things, like of course Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is probably the high watermark. Being John Malkovich, or more recently Jesse Buckley was in, I'm thinking, of Vending Things. There are movies that if you're going to get weird, you got to get really weird. This is just such a soft attempt. Like if you wanted to explain surrealist film to like high schoolers, I would show them this because it's very easy to grasp.
Yeah, I think I agree. Let me talk a little bit more specifically about how we enter and exit these like worlds that they're going to, because that's kind of our visual like reality that we're moving through over the course of the film. Yeah, so our two characters set out on the road after another chance meeting at a Burger King, very prominently Burger King in this movie. Must have had an awesome advertising deal with them. And the two meet at a Burger King. Well, hold on, let me wind it back one further. After meeting at the hotel, they don't really end up having a connection. Colin Farrell's driving back in the rain, and his GPS asks him, Colin, do you want to go on a big, bold, beautiful journey? And he says, yes. He has to like say this thing out loud, like affirm this journey. And he says, okay, great. First things first, hit the next exit and get a cheeseburger, right? Cool. So he does, right? What better way to start an odd road trip? So he stops off at a Burger King, and there he sees Sarah sitting across the way. The two of them meet, they start talking, they have kind of this funny little conversation. Her car that she also got from the car rental agency, this very funny, surrealist agency run by Phoebe Waller-Bridge and Kevin Kline in his first film in like 4 years. It was a delight seeing him on screen again. She comes with, she hops in her car, they take off, and the car says, hey, you guys are headed to your next stop in your journey, pull off in this field over here. They pull off, and there's this big red door. And they walk over to it. What's this do? It's just a door standing in the middle of a field, right? That Joe Hisaishi soundtrack kind of creeps in. And so they open the door and they go through it, and then it cuts to the other side of the door, and we're in a room inside. I don't even remember where the first door goes. It's not high school. That's the second one. I couldn't tell you.
Lighthouse.
The lighthouse. That's right. They're at a lighthouse, and Colin Farrell says, "I've been to this lighthouse before. I traveled here once for work, and I remember looking out over the sea and feeling nothing because I was traveling alone and I'm lonely." And she's like, "Well, that should mean more." And then they hop back in the car and we keep driving. What was that about? I don't know. That was strange. And they come across another door out in a field, and it goes to high school, where Colin Farrell has to be the 15 again and the lead in his band, and this girl that he liked, he's about to lose her forever. And if he doesn't say the right thing, and he has to relive this challenging moment, Robbie's there to kind of comment on it. We keep doing these doors. We go to a hospital where we see Robbie's mom on her deathbed, Sarah's mom on her deathbed. We go to a past home where we step into like them meeting, Colin Farrell's character meets his father. Like, we start to step through all of these times in the past where you're like looking back on your perspective, and the Big Bold Beautiful Journey is you like going through these things. It's an art museum. And like, I think the general framework of that is really good. Like, overall, I think that's solid. I actually really like the practical effects of the doors. Very simple. You walk in a door in a field, cut to door in high school, and the actors are closing the door. No CGI, no stupid portal garbage. Like, real easy, one-to-one, very about time. I know I said Ghost of Girlfriend's Past already. But the magic doesn't work that good. Like, it's all these different perspectives on these two fictional characters' lives. Oh, when I was in high school, when I was alone at a lighthouse, when I was alone at a hospital. And like, it doesn't really skewer any one person in particular. It's trying to just be this net of like humanity for everyone. And between Farrell and Robbie, I just don't think they can save it. Like, the script's a little too wide in its themes.
Yeah, our characters, when they first meet, again, they have this, it's like an anti-meet cute where they meet, and they're clearly very interested in each other. But she's like, well, we shouldn't do this, like, because I'm a wreck. I'm only going to hurt you. And he's like, well, I'll abandon you first. And it's like a little bit too smart for itself. Like, no one talks like that. Just have a regular meet cute. And yeah, they go through these different areas of their lives where they were struggling, and they're both supposed to kind of overcome their avoidancy. You know, I'm not good enough for you because of XYZ, and same thing. We have a kind of a showdown with past relationships, and just none of it works. Like, none of it is dramatic, and the drama doesn't work. You know, like they do some teenage like being heartbroken and stuff, and it's just like it just doesn't pull you in. And I'm trying to think of movies that this is where where people go back into the past and do this thing, and nothing's coming to mind. But I was like, this has been done so much better in other ways, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't pull you in. You're not convinced by any of it. You don't feel bad for our characters at any point.
No, I think I'm going to go the other way. It works sometimes. It definitely does not all work. Probably most of it doesn't work. There were a couple of bits that tugged at my heartstrings, though. There's some stuff with him and his dad that I thought was really sweet as a son. Like, I guess a lot of dudes are sons, actually. Most of them are. But yeah, like, I thought that was nice. The stuff with Robbie's mom I thought was kind of heartfelt. Like, their connection does not work that good because there's also supposed to be a romance here, and the two of them just do not quite click together in the right way. They're kind of opposites, but I really like a lot of the practical stuff. While it is like film school surrealism, at the same time, it's low budget surrealism, right? Daniels does low budget surrealism. Julio Torres in Problemista does low budget surrealism. I like a lot of that stuff. And there's some really great blocking. There's this one cafe scene where they each sit on opposite sides of the cafe at two single tables with their former partners and argue about why they broke up. And as the scene goes on, they keep cutting closer and closer together in tables till they're all sitting at the same table. And it's just real tight and put together good. And like, that's one of the scenes that works real good in this movie. Like, that's where I think Kogonada's really got something special here. But alternatively, like, there's a lot of stuff that's chunky and could use some fat trimming and a script that's just not quite tight enough. And like, it just doesn't, I don't know, like, it needed some screws turned to it. Needed a couple reshoots and maybe something to tighten up in editing. I like the lo-fi-ness of it. I like the lo-fi-ness of their GPS. It's like this like super basic, like one screen thing, almost looks like an old Game Boy or something. And I didn't mind that it was like not overly imaginative. And I really like the road trip, honestly, between the stops, because ultimately what I think is happening here is they're just talking on the road as they travel together and talking about their past and like kind of visualizing them themselves. But it just doesn't quite mix together to be the magic sauce to make it work, like to make you like tear jerking in your seat or anything. You know what I mean? It's a
It,
bummer. Like it's close. It's close to it. It's really close.
it reminded me, strangely enough, of Beau is Afraid, because
Yeah.
Beau is Afraid is such wild surrealism. Like that first like 45 minutes of that film are crazy, and then it only gets more crazy as his journey. He goes on a journey as well, and that's definitely not everyone's cup of tea, but at least Ari Aster's going for it. Like you will never see anything. I'm scarred by some of what I see in I've seen in Beau is Afraid, but it stuck with me for years because it is so crazy and so out there, and this is just so forgettable, and also strangely, this could very well be like family cinema if you didn't have Margot Robbie dropping the F bomb every like 2 seconds. I don't know why. Like it's a very PG movie, and then they gave her some very like rated R dialogue, and that again that hurts the film's box office because that if it's R, then you have a harder time, getting younger people to it. So that was a really strange choice too.
Yeah, I forgot about that. We talked about it before the show, and I said you should definitely mention that because yeah, that's worth bringing up. Phoebe Waller-Bridge does the same thing. She drops like 4 f-bombs in the opening scene, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess this is an R-rated feature for some reason. Then it has no good reason to be one. It's really strange. Um,
Yeah, there's no violence, no sex, no nudity, no nothing heavy. It like I said, everything else is PG except the dialogue
something,
by
yes,
one character most of the
so,
time.
something totally unrelated to Birdwalk out of this review for a brief moment. I'll close this off. I promise. I just watched Conclave again the other day. Conclave's on Prime Video, and when I paused it, it says at the top the rating. Conclave's rated PG for like mild thematic elements and smoking. And I was like, it's such a mature drama, but there's no violence. Nobody curses. It's a solid feature. Like this should have that problem. Like this might as well be a PG feature. Like there's not a whole lot going on here to make it an R rating. It just kind of is. And it's like you could have almost edited out the bits to make them not R rated. Like it's really strange. I don't know. I wish it was more than the sum of its parts. I worry the parts aren't even that good. But for what it's worth, like, I've been a little low lately. I felt my heartstrings tugged a bit by Big Bold Beautiful Journey. It's not perfect. It's got a lot of problems. But I think, like a lot of these kind of inspirational road flicks, like Secret Life of Walter Mitty from Ben Stiller, I think it will have an audience. I think there will be people out there who are like, this movie means a lot to me. This spoke to me in a special way. So I don't know. Definitely not for everybody, but for certain people out there who are seeking it, I think you might get something out of this. I think, I think there's something to be gained. And I should probably wrap it up. Are you ready for final recommendations there?
Yeah. Yes. Other than to say, like you said before, the score is really nice. I think visually there's some interesting things. I would love to see a better script with the same director.
Yeah, I think a lot like him. I think there's a lot here that works. It's not perfect. Andy, would you recommend Big Bold Beautiful Journey?
Soft pass. I would say save it for streaming if you're interested. It's visually interesting, but our script is just really weak. Our characters are weak. Margot Robbie and Colin Farrell are doing the best they can. They can't save this movie. They can't save this writing. Like I said, it's like my baby's first surrealist film. There's so many better films that do this sort of thing. So I say soft pass, save it for streaming.
I'm going to go soft yes. I'm going to say this movie is good if you want something like this. If you're seeking something like a Walter Mitty or like About Time, like it's imaginative and it's bold and it's supposed to bring you up when you're feeling low, right? Like you're depressed and have nowhere to go. You want to watch a movie. Throw on Big Bold Beautiful Journey. You might actually get something out of it. You might actually enjoy it. So yeah, not perfect, not bad, lo-fi in some smart ways. I enjoyed it, but I get it. It's not great. anyway, we gotta wrap up the episode. That's it. Shoot, off script episode 308. What are we watching next week, Andy?
We're gonna be watching One Battle After Another. That's the new Paul Thomas Anderson.